Hey everyone, my name is Warren Marshall. I'm an adventure elopement photographer located in Washington State, and it's really good to have you here because today we're talking about some of the highlighted reasons why you should be printing your photos and some of the best ways that you can do that. Printing photos is something we could probably all stand to do a little bit more often, and sometimes we just need that reminder of how much better an image actually is as a print. And it's also worth noting that this is not just for photographers, but really for anybody. So let's dive right in. So at risk of opening with a cliche, you may have heard the phrase that a digital image exists, but a print really brings an image to life, or words to that effect. And it's with good reason, honestly, because it's really just a different interaction and even a more superior experience that you have with an image when you're viewing it as a printed photograph rather than viewing it on a digital screen. Compared to the fleeting nature of consuming digital content and temptation of distractions, your attention is much more singularly focused when you are viewing a print. It's pretty recognizable that you scroll through photos on a device exponentially faster than you would, say, flipping through pages in a photo album. The colors, the contrast, and even the feelings that an image may elicit are just way richer in tangible form. And I think a lot of us understand this conceptually, but sometimes we just need a reminder of how drastic the difference is. I struggle to find an adequate analogy, but it's almost like looking at a finely prepared meal versus actually tasting it for yourself. Someone can tell you about how awesome and amazing it is, but you really need to experience it for yourself before you can fully appreciate it. The larger the print, the more likely you'll spend more time viewing it as well. I think probably just because it's more of an immersive experience, honestly, and you're able to appreciate all the details at greater scale. And I'm sure if you've ever visited like an art gallery of any sort, you'll likely notice this to be true for yourself as well. Another reason why you should print your photos, apart from just the optical difference between a printed image and a digital file, is honestly just that you'll see them a lot more often when they're hung up or displayed around your home rather than buried on a hard drive somewhere. And by extension, you'll get to share them with others more as well. I've noticed personally that my memory to whatever experience was captured in that photo is strengthened as I'm constantly taking in that image when it's displayed somewhere. I typically will create a photo book or a magazine of some sorts from a couple of my favorite trips that I take every year, and as someone who does take tens of thousands of photographs every year, the process of choosing which ones to print are really revealing and help you learn which images are your favorite or just what's most important to you. And just to pull on that thread a little bit further, not only do prints really liven up a space in a home and give it personality, but they make really meaningful gifts for people as well. So, what is the best way to get your photos printed? Everybody has a different opinion on this, which is perfectly okay, of course, but personally, I usually encourage people to stay away from those grocery style printers like Costco or Walgreens. They're okay and they get the job done, but I liken it to using a cheap photo lab is kind of like using cheap ingredients for a recipe. Sure, it gets the job done, but it's not really as good as it could be. If you're just looking for whatever is cheapest, I also think that kind of sends a subconscious message to yourself that you really just don't value it, and that's not the type of meaning that we want to be attaching to our experiences or our relationships. Especially as a photographer, I think your art really deserves to live up to its fullest potential. And speaking again about the actual product, professional photo labs are going to use higher quality materials and equipment that are going to be more conducive to longevity in your prints. Printing through these labs helps support the photography industry as a whole, and prints, even through these higher quality labs, are really quite cheap these days, so there's just less of a reason not to use them. While many photographers, myself included, grant printing rights to their clients nowadays, I would still recommend printing your photos through your photographer for similar reasons. They know the labs that have the absolute best quality, and not only that, the labs that work specifically best for their editing style in terms of their colors, their contrast, and all the other visual components that are just gonna give you the best looking prints possible. Photographers will also be able to help you crop the images at the correct aspect ratio for the print sizes that you're going for, whereas if you aren't really sure how to do that yourself, when you print your photos, they may come out to be a little bit different than what you had actually intended them to be based off of the size. And lastly, I think it's amazing when people order prints through their photographer or purchase from any artist because it shows you support the small businesses that really work hard for you. So that right there is just a few of the numerous reasons why you guys should be printing your photos. Once again, I want to say thank you for spending some time with me today, and I will see you in the next one.
Okay.